Hello everybody, this is Make It Better, and today we're doing What If Deku Had Nightmares part I Forgot. It'll be on the title, you guys will already know and all that. But anyway, sorry for the long wait, mostly just work and stuff like that. And that's basically all my excuse for right now, for this week. So with all that said, let's get into it. He's breathing heavily. He hears voices, and the last torture from Shiraki was a lot. He remembers getting grabbed on the knee with all five of his fingers touching him. Nothing happened, but some of his black nightmares did raw away. Luckily, he kept his quirk on for the entire time, for he won't be effective. Shiraki get tired of this after 5 attempts and nothing happened, so he started to leave and walk away and lock the room. Make sure it was locked. He's still breathing heavily, not given any water, food, nor even some sunlight or even time. He'd been there just sitting there and just waiting for something. Over in another scene, we see that All Might and everybody else there, the policemen and teachers as well as Nezu, is working together to make sure that everything is going well. One more day until the raid starts. Moving over to the classroom. Everybody was told, well, school will be delayed for a few more days until everything is sorted out. Some of the kids, the students, are asking where's Zuko and when will he come back? As the policemen try to explain to them that they do not know and cannot let go of those information just yet as they leave. Now, most of the classmates go and visit their classmates. About 5 of them are still in the hospital room and still need to be worked on. One of them is Momo, since she gotten the worst injury compared to everybody else. So after some of them finally get off of their beds and decide to go visit Momo, almost everybody, I say almost everybody, is in Momo's room. They're standing around and talking about everything that happens in the camp. And then Uraka started to tear up, and they said they took Zuko. And she kind of tears up as Suyu comfort her. As she's tearing up and kind of like wishing, damning herself and wishing that she could have been stronger. And she says this out loud that I was there, I could have gotten him, and more. As some of them are getting mad and more frustrated, Momo relates saying that she put a tracker on one of those Nomus, and she already gave the receiver to the policemen, the cops. And then someone, Kirishima, no, Denki, decided, how about we go get him too? Everybody looks at him, and Sero finally comes up, said, "Yeah, we can help him and go get him for out of that situation. We don't know, he could be tortured, all we know, and it'd be better than doing nothing, right?" As he looks around and said, "Right?" Some of them nod, while others tried to say nothing. And Momo, she kind of wants to help him out since the class rep and stuff. Araka, she really wants to do it. And she says it out loud. I want to help Izuku so much. And they say, then come with us. Let's do it tonight. Let's do it tonight. As there's more people going along with this. But Uraka said, but he can take care of himself. They said, but you, and you, they can't think of the right way to phrase it. But Uraka keeps going and says, I saw his memories. I experienced what he gone through. This is nothing. He can come back. He will come back. And I'll stay here for a place for him to come. Everybody gets somewhat scared that she says something like that, but even more worried and asking Oraka, what did he go through for him to, for you to know that he's not gonna get hurt by anything? You and they're still getting worked up and hard to say anything because, well, it's one of these new experience. Oraka basically said, I can tell you 1 year of his life. All the others I can't. If he wants to show it, he will. As she tells the story of the day that he got stuck on the lake. Afterwards, everybody basically was walking out of the room, dumbstruck, eyes dry from all the crying. And the guys that weren't caring couldn't stomach it. And one of them that was not in the room, basically Tokuyami, he couldn't take it after the first day of it, of the information. So he left it. He left. Until they look at the news. Moving on to another scene where Zuko is still tied up after the session with, Dobby this time, using up a lot of flames to burn any part of his face to show nothing coming out, which his interrogation did not work either. So they leave, slam the door, and yelling at Shigaraki that it didn't work. Nothing that we do to him is not working. It's like he's like a stone or something. And then Zuko hears a voice. And then another. And he gets furious. So much so that he starts to use his other quirk. But he restrained himself. Keep himself calm and cool, collected. And just hear what they're saying. In the other room, a man and a woman is talking to this man on the TV. Zuko can't hear the guy from the other side. It's too faint. But they do hear, what he does hear is, I'm so grateful that you found our son. The money we spent on you was greatly helpful, correct? The man mumbles. And then a man, speak clearly, said, hold on, dear. Let's make sure that he caught the right one. We do not want to mess up this time. We have so much more experiments we would love to try on, right, dear? As the wife said yes. It'll be so much fun to see him suffer for more years. I can't wait for him to come back home with us. After that, they hear a knock. They look towards the door, and some question, who did someone what? And on the other side, the guy said, delivery for this address. I got like 2 pizzas, 4 cheesy breads, and some sauces. And they were getting hungry, so Toga decided to open the door. And a huge gust of wind broke through the wall. Well, the door was completely destroyed, but the wall was taken down. Huge ruckus. All Might's telling all of them they're under arrest for the action they have done, and tries to take them all down. As he took most of them down, few of them has escaped, but All Might is yelling out for Zuko. For Zuko, where are you? As he screams. And Zuko, after this moment, finally took a sigh of relief and broke out the restraints after so many days of just weakening it for the right time. Broke it out and broke through the door that he was locked through. He came out, but exhausted for using up all of his energy at that one point. All Might sees him and tries to take him out of the building, but as he does, a black ooze coming out of everybody's mouth and transport them to another area. Another explosion goes off. All Might takes Zuko and get out of the building as the explosion go off. Now the whole city block, is cleared. All Might is just standing there in shock on what he sees, as One for All is standing in the middle of the rubble, taking out the League of Villains from his, well, goop of some sort. I'm not sure what it was. Anyway, dang. 1, 2, 3, 4. As All Might tells Zuko to run, as he takes care of All For One. And All For One does not care. He attacks everybody and anybody that's nearby with a bunch of special attacks, with a bunch of his quirks, needles going through everybody that he finds. And most of these are civilians. And All Might is getting mad and furious. So he starts fighting against all For One. Blow after blow, hit after hit, kept on going. And it's getting very intense. And Zuko is yelling at everybody to evacuate, to make sure everybody's safe. As he finally sees one of the cops, one of his father's friends' cop nearby, and Zuko ran towards him and asked him for some water. As the officer said, yeah, sure, here kid. And Zuko grabbed it, drank the whole thing, took a few breaths, and thinks to himself, I can't believe I'm doing this. As he runs back into the battle, knowing how bad All Might's injury is and don't know how long it will take, he decides to go into the fight along with All Might. And now the policeman can't stop him because he's too far into the battle. They will get hurt themselves. Other heroes try to go in, but All Might and, All For One, punches were enough to blow them away itself. And when All Might took one final hit and was actually turning back into his Small Might form, Zuko stood right in front of him, in between of All Might and All For One. Zuko readied himself up, psyched himself out, and says, I'll protect you, All Might. Just wait for my signal. As All Might tells him to run, to get out of here. This is not your fight. This is mine. I need to beat him down for once and for all. And Zuko said, you are weak. You are at your limit. Let me fight. Let me fight for you. as All Might can't take this, but he was interrupted by All for One. All for One is laughing at this pitiful display of heroship and start telling to the whole world their not one symbol of hope is now laying on the ground helpless and now a weakling no older than probably 5 and saying that he will try and save All Might. Don't make me laugh. As he starts laughing, Zuko takes this chance, charge up one for all, and with the black goop finally coming up again, he looks at All for One. And when All for One finally looks over at Zuko vanish and start fighting back over at All for One. Blow after blow, kick after kick, and every time Zuko moves out of the way for, well, dodging out of the way from anything and everything of All for One's attacks. And Zuko's getting really tired of this, and because, well, no food, and he's starting to grumble, and All for One hears this and start laughing about his pitiful explain. He's not even hurting me. All of this. And All for One is taking in more hits, and Zuko thought he was winning until he saw his arm forming and changing into a huge, massive blob of flesh, metal, armor, everything, all in All for One explained he put in all of his favorite quirks on his right arm, and this will be All Might's killing blow, as he threw a huge swipe into the air, making a huge slash going straight towards All Might. And since All Might is in his small might form, Zuko quickly moved out of the way, going straight back to All Might, grabbing him and moving him just slightly away from the blast. As it does, the blast hit the rubble, and it made a huge, clean slice towards everything. It went back 20 feet as the reporters, the cops, the heroes see this and see how dangerous he really is. As they're trying to yell, and their civilians are saying, "All Might, All Might, All Might," and they keep going louder and louder and louder, for All Might can hear them and being chanted on. He finally looks up to Zuko and asks him, can he make an opening? Zuko said, "Yeah, I can." "Are you ready, All Might?" As All Might said, "Yeah, I'm ready." As Zuko went back, this time charging up, making sure he looks very flashy. Lightning coming off his body, black and green lightning going all over his body, and start rushing towards All for One. But slow enough where everybody is looking towards him. Even All for One is looking towards him, and starts swiping with his almighty, arm, the All Might Destroyer, and start swinging at him, often like a human with a fly, trying to catch the damn fly. As Zuko's moving way too quick, and after one more swipe, Zuko grab onto the very thing and seep through his nightmare into All for One. And when it finally hits to All for One is re-experienced all of the torturous acts that his previous partners said they done to this child. And he's experienced it, and it's kind of shocking even for himself. And over the years of torture that he done to other people, this is his first time of experience true pain, and it kind of shaked his body to a point where he's trying to grab his head, but with the one normal arm and the one deformed arm, he can't really grab, and he's trying to scream out, but he doesn't have mouth to scream in, thankfully. And Zuko, after running out of the way and telling All Might now, all for one finally come out of that darkness. And what he sees is some light, and then a glowing line, and it's glowing bright, almost like the sun, until he realized that All Might is 5 feet away. 4, 3, 2. And All Might said, Detroit, United States smash into his face, straight down, making a huge crater, big enough where even some of the heroes are about felt it, and they're not nowhere near. After the dust finally settles, All Might is breathing heavily, very heavy, but he raised his fist up and screamed out a huge yell, as well the crowd and other heroes screamed out that he did it, that he defeated all for one. And then someone also replied, and that kid, he helped All Might. He helped All Might. And Zuko's just back further away, breathing heavily, taking off his black armor. And it finally shows throughout his shirt that was finally destroyed, and some of his pants that was destroyed, that he's covered in wounds, way worse than All Might's. And then the medics immediately went towards him, and it shows on the TV screen All Might's poses and pointing out to the camera saying, "You are next." Then they move over to Zuko, and the classroom see that Zuko is covered in bruises, cuts, burns, and some decay on his body. And most of them are in shock, but Uraka is taking the most out of it, seeing all of this, and she just keep reliving those nightmares again. Zuko was taken into the hospital and was given treatment to everything, and throughout it all, he comes out barely. He's very tired. A recovered girl can't heal him until he got some stamina back. And she said she had to wait until he awakened in full health, or his heals will never be fully gone. I'm sorry, but I can't do much. As she walks away, as everybody else, others, the pro heroes, are waiting in his room until he finally awakens. And when Zuko does, he's getting bum rushed by all these questions on how and what happened to him. That's the only question he hears. Zuko opens his eyes and closes them and says, "Too bright? Can you turn off the light?" As they do, he asks, "Where's his father? Where's Itami?" As Itami finally comes out of the corner and went right next to Zuko's bed and held out his hand and said, "I'm here. I'm here. What do you need?" And Zuko said, "Some glass bottles." Itami realized what he means and grabbed some that he knew his son would do. He grabbed about 5 and hold them out to Zuko, and Zuko said, "Okay, here." He kind of reach out with his other arm, but it's very difficult for him to move. As one of the heroes sees him moving his other arm, Zuko asks if someone can please move my arm to the glasses. As they do, Zuko's kind of wincing in pain just by the movement, but when he finally gets to one, he drops enough black nightmare into each and every glass, all 5 of them. Itami closed these up and asked how long, and Zuko said, "All of it." all of it. And he falls asleep saying all of it. Itami said, okay, I got it. As he rushed out, showing to his chief, the head investigator, the head, well, All Might, and Nezu. And the fifth one is for anyone else that will take it. And one person out of nowhere asked to take it, and also asked how to take it. As Itami explained, either leave it on your face and it will seep through your skin, or you drink it. Either way, you'll still get the same effect. As he does, and everybody else say 3, 2, 1. And most of them drank it. As one of them, well, Nezu, put it on his face. As it seeped through into their bodies, their organs, and going straight into their nervous system, and they experience everything. And turns out that Zuko did not turn off his quirk and return it on when he get into the venom space. It kept on right at the beginning of the forest fire camp. The fire camp. From the day that Zuko defeated Muscular, took out his one spine, and all the way towards the end of the fight, he left it on for the fight as well. And after they took the experience, come out of the very shock and ultimate sacrifice that he gone through, they saw everything. And the most important part, they heard everything. As an officer asked for these names, their home address, and every single history about them. This big, they need to put this out now. As Nezu said, wait, let's not. Let's wait and have them think we don't know anything. As the other said, yes. As the hero explained, and just surprised to feel all of this. As All Might looks over to Not Eye and see, I told you he was a great candidate. As Night Eye finally looks up, with he's holding onto his heart and just kind of shaking from all of that. He said, you may be right, but I still think Muriel was the best choice. As he walks away and looking into the future, but he can't see anything, since this was not indirectly touching Zuko. Dang, that even got me. Yeah. After a few days, Zuko finally awakens, fully recovered, and he asks, so what happened? As Itami basically tells him everything that will be happening and all the secrets that he's not allowed to tell. Zuko said, yeah, I get that part. So, when the school start, if Itami kind of chuckles at this, said it will start until you fully recovered. By then, just focus on getting healed up, okay? Zuko said, yeah, but no takeout, please. I don't want to eat any of that food. Itami said, fine, I'll make your favorite, okay? Zuko said, please, okay, thank you. And they go back to sleep. All Might just sees their interaction and said, I really need to get a kid of my own. Itami said, don't, it's not worth the trouble. As they both kind of chuckle at this and leave the room for Zuko to finally sleep peacefully. After the news shows that everybody was taken care of, All for One is taken to a prison. in a high security area. Oraka was given the news, and she called in Izuku, which Itami picked up his phone and said hello, which Itami recognized the voice and said, "Oh, yeah, he's in this hospital in this room, in this level. And you can bring your friends. I believe he will be happy to see you guys. Especially you." As he hung up, Oraka, of course, get a blushing face, but told her friends and whoever wants to come. And basically, everybody wanted to come, especially Todoroki. When they finally get to the hospital, into the level, into the room, they notice that All Might is there in his small might form, and few policemen. All of them just looking and talking about other stuff. Mostly the stupid stuff that Zuko have done in the past years. When they finally open the door and they see this, and the officers and their heroes looked over and see the kids, they decide to walk out of the room. And the kids, after the officer leaves and kind of saying hello to Zuko's friends, start to leave. And they come, all of them, all 19 of them, come through the room. And they're just waiting there. And Itami said, "Zuko, can you stop playing and say hi to your friends?" Zuko said, "What friends?" As they felt kind of attacked and, well, kind of furious until Oraka looked over onto his side of his bed, the other side. So Itami was on his right, Uraka will be on his left. And Zuko opened his eyes just slightly to see that Uraka's there. He kind of smiles until he felt a great pain. And when he opened his eyes, saying "ow," Uraka was pinching his arm. And Zuko said, he looks at her and then look at his arm saying, "Ow." And Uraka kept going. And then Uraka kind of smiles, start tearing up, and actually grab onto Zuko, crying. I thought, she says, I thought I was going to lose you. And Zuko, with his working arm right now, grab onto Uraka, tightly giving her a hug back, saying, "I'm not gonna leave. I'm too stubborn to leave." After this moment, someone cleared their throat, and Zuko looks over and said, "So, what do you, if everybody basically is screaming, yelling, and Zuko's just taking all of it, of their concerns, what has happened, what they saw, and then someone finally said, and then you just like fought back against that huge villain for All Might, and that was so cool. And Zuko said, "Oh, okay, too loud." And Zuko, he realized that he's using both of his arms, and he feels more numb on his left, but he can still move it. And he's just looking at his hands, just opening them both up, closing, and just feeling the difference. As Itami finally told him and his friends, because of his on the experience that he gone through, you've gone through, Zuko. The doctor says that you're not gonna be able to recover fully until you have a proper meal. About, I believe he says, a whole month or 4 weeks. And Zuko said, "Oh man, that means I have to eat your food." as he kind of looks over to Uraka and said, Uraka, do you know how to cook? And, well, Utami said, I'm hurt that you will assume that I have not gotten better. And Zuko looks over to him and said, have you tasted your food? It's more salty than it should be. Well, they have this huge conversation in front of everybody. Uraka kind of get a blush that Zuko, in front of everybody, asked her if she could cook, for him. And that kind of gave her a slight blush because she was practicing on learning how to cook. And she kind of interrupts in their little conversation of bickering and being a father son moment. She said, "Yeah, uh, I can cook 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 for you." As she twirled her hair around. At this moment, everybody finally leaves. They do not care. They're not worried. They see the whole interaction and chose to leave. And then Ida stayed back and said, no inappropriate conversations, please, as he walks out. Itami said, that was supposed to be my job, but same thing. No inappropriate conversation. And no, touching. I know how you kids are. As he walks away, and well, Oraka kind of get a huge red blush around her face. And Zuko just said, Dad, what the heck? And Itami said, yeah, yeah, waving his hand up and down and walking out the room. Now there is only two of them. Oraka finally sits down after the whole thing and asks Zuko if he's really okay. And Zuko says, yeah, I'm fine. I'm great. And Oraka looks at him with his fake smile and says this. I saw your memories. I can tell when you're faking it or not. Zuko's smile went to a frown. Said, I hate that you know that much of me. As Araka asked him again if he's okay, and Zuko said, honestly, I am not allowed to tell you what I learned. Just know there's not anything good. Araka trying to comfort him and grab onto his hand and looked him deep into his eyes and said, you can tell me anything. I'm here for you. And Zuko said, yeah. He kind of smiles, looks at her, says, yeah, I know. Thank you. That's enough. You can let go. It's starting to hurt a bit more. And Zuko was looking at his hand and trying to like move out of the away because it's still starting to hurt. Araka is still holding tight. Zuko looks over to Araka and saying, can you please let go? It's starting to hurt. And Araka closed her eyes and became very forward at this moment. Zuko widened his eyes even more. After a few silent moments, they separate. And Raka said, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm gonna go now. And Zuko, well, he just sees her walking, kind of running away, opening the door, closing it, and just leaving the area. And Zuko kind of touched his lips. And, well, just think to himself, I, she kissed me. Wow. So that's how it feels. Why does it taste like strawberries? And that I am gonna end this video. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day, and I hope you enjoy my version of this part. Eh. So tired. Now for the next video. Alright then. Bye.